In this video, I'll give you some tips for collecting content for your site and show you how you can prepare images for use in your pages. First, when we build a site, we'll usually prefer to ask or work with our clients to develop the content for their site. We usually have decided on a site structure and have created wireframes and a sitemap to help us visualize what needs to be created. Then we go about the process of creating or collecting the content. In our case, this consists of writing the About page and collecting at least 5 articles and 5 products. Write the About page content in a text document such as in Microsoft Word. Later, you can copy and paste this into your about.html and mark it up appropriately. Collect article content by browsing the web to find articles you'd like to include. When you find an article you want to keep, ensure that it has a title, author, date, and a cover image. Feel free to create your own cover images if needed. To collect this content, simply enter each of these details into a text document as you did the About page. Make sure to exclude any content that isn't really essential for your article. For the image, you can use images from the web in the context of this sample site. But in the real world, we'd need to create our own content and images, being sure to give credit where credit is due. For now, we could right-click and save the images into a specific folder for this content collection. Later, we'll clean up and export these images into our actual site's images folder, but keep them separate for now. Collecting products is similar. Once we find the products we'd like to include, copy the title, price, and description into a text document to mark up later. Save the product images as well. In order to build our simple functional prototype, we'll want to include our content and images. But some of our images are crazy sizes that will make our page content look strange. We can do some preliminary cleanup, cropping and resizing these images based on the general sizes we see in our wireframes. We'll do some more specific sizing later when we build out our design comps, but this is an intermediary step to help our prototype look better. So no image in this site, based on the wireframe, is larger than 760 pixels wide, and we're expecting them all to be in landscape orientation. This means that we'll want to resize any images to be at most 760 pixels wide. So we can create a separate page in our mockup file called image prep, just for resizing and cropping images. Then I'll add a nice big artboard set at 700 pixels wide and 3000 pixels tall. That should give me room to add a few images. I'll drag and drop my first one in and resize it to fit in the space. I'll drag a second in below this and resize it as well. I don't mind at this point that the heights of these are a little different. Later in our process, we'll hone these more, but we're just getting the rough sizes for now. Now, this image is one of my product images, and it's in a portrait orientation. To ensure it fits in the space I've planned, I will mind its height a little more than the others. If I keep it at 760 pixels wide, it will be way too tall for the page. So I'll resize it even more until its height is roughly 420 pixels tall. Now it's got extra space on the side, so I'll just center it in this 760 pixel space here. I'll want to ensure it exports at the 760 pixel width though, so I'll draw a rectangle 760 pixels wide and at least as tall as the image itself. Then I'll select this rectangle and the image and create a mask. The space not occupied by the image inside this mask will appear the color that the rectangle was, but I can fix that by turning off its fill color. Now this masked group will export at the right size, but the image will be centered in the frame and will just have transparent pixels around it. Now I can just set up these images as slices and then export them. Now they're ready to add into my web pages later. With the content collected and images prepared and exported, this phase of the project is finished.